Hello everybody, welcome back to new session. I am Nandakishore, Faculty of English, Vidhyaashram, Mysuru. In my previous session, I had discussed about subject-verb agreement. In today's session, I will be discussing about reported speech. So why is this reported speech important from the examination point of view? If you just checked the question paper pattern, reported speech will be asked for 5 marks in your examination. So let's start with today's session, reported speech. Reported speech is also known as indirect speech. So what is indirect speech? What is this speech? Let's take for an example. I am standing in front of the camera and I'm talking to you people, and if I make a statement that you look very beautiful or you look very handsome. So who is making this statement? It is me, and you are the second person. You have heard it and you want to report it to the third person. So how do you report it? You will go to the third person and you will say that sir told that you looked beautiful or you looked gorgeous. So that's how you report the person's statement. Or if you have heard somebody making a statement, you listen to it as a second person, you go to the third person and you report the following. Now let's start with the rules that you need to follow. First thing, you need to be very careful with tenses. Remember, in my previous videos, I kept telling you tenses play a key role. Without learning tenses, your English language is incomplete. Why tenses play a key role in reported speech? It's because if you don't know tenses, you cannot change the verb, the action word into past tense, or you cannot change the auxiliary verb into past tense, or you cannot change the modals to the other tenses. So that's why tenses play a key role in English language. Especially when it comes to reported speech, you must learn tenses. Without learning tenses, without becoming perfect in tenses, you cannot score 5 out of 5 in reported speech. So first thing, change in tenses. Remember, there are 3 tenses and there are 4 subtenses under each tense. And if you take simple past tense or simple present tense, let's take simple present tense. If the sentence is in simple present tense, it will change to simple past tense. All the simple present tense or all the present tense form will change to past tense form. Keep this in mind. If the sentence is in present continuous, it will change to past continuous. If it is in present perfect tense, it changes to past perfect tense. For instance, if the sentence itself is in past tense, what will the verb change to? If the sentence is in simple past tense, it will change to past perfect tense. If the sentence is in past continuous tense, it will change to past perfect. But if the sentence itself is in past perfect tense, it will not change for any other tense. It remains the same. It remains unchanged. Change in modals and verbs. If the modals are in direct speech, what will they change to in indirect speech? If it is do or does, it will change to did. Is am are will change to was or were. Has or have will change to had. Did will change to had done. Has or have done will become had done. Was doing will become had been doing. If you are not able to follow what I am explaining here, let me go back and give you a simple example for each tenses here. Let us take an example, simple present tense. I go to college. Now, this is in simple present tense. If you are reporting it, somebody said, he said. Let us take he said. So this is a direct speech, right? How will you change it to indirect speech? You need to change it as he said that I will become he, because we are talking about a person here. If the gender is singular, or if the subject is singular, we use I or he. If the gender is male, we use he. If it is female, we use she. If it is neutral, we use it. So we are referring to he here. He said that he. Now go is the verb here. It will change to simple past tense. So what will it become? That he went to college. So remember, this main verb will change to simple past tense. So if the sentence is in present continuous tense, let's say, let me just modify it a bit. He said, I am going to college. I am going to college. He said that he was, am will become, now remember, am will become was or were. So he was going to college. Simple. If the sentence is in present perfect tense, I have gone to college becomes he had gone to college. I will be replaced with he, so it becomes he had gone to college. If the sentence is in simple past tense, let us say I went to Bangalore. I went to Bangalore. So let's say somebody has told these words and these are in double inverted commas. So these are direct words told by a person. How do you change it to past perfect tense? So you need to observe the verb. Went is an action word. It is verb. It has to change to past perfect. If it is simple past tense, then it will change to past perfect tense. So I went to college becomes he had gone to Bangalore. He had gone to Bangalore. Likewise, the rest two examples will change to other tenses. So observe this. These are direct speech models. They will change to indirect speech. This is how they change in indirect speech. Now, these models will change as follows. Shall will become would or should. Will become would. Must becomes had to. Now becomes then. Remember these words, these are very particular. Now becomes then. Ago becomes before. Today becomes that day. Yesterday becomes the previous day. Tomorrow becomes the next day or the following day as well. Now reporting verbs. So these are commonly used reporting verbs. So what are reporting verbs? Let's take for an example. Could you please lend me a pencil? I am making this statement. Person 1 is making this statement. So these are direct words from person 1. So second person has heard this and he, while reporting it to the third person, he can use any of these reporting verbs. Sir requested that. He wanted a pencil. Requested. So what is this? Reporting verb. If I am making a statement, will you please keep quiet? So I am not requesting here. So what is the reporting verb here? I am commanding. If I make a statement, could you please forgive me? I am apologizing. You look beautiful. You look handsome. So what am I doing here? What is the reporting verb? I am complimenting. So keep this in mind. You cannot just use said to, told or asked. He said. No, don't use the repetitive reporting verbs. You need to read the statement, understand the intention, and then you need to use the reporting verbs. So these are few reporting verbs you can use while answering the questions. Said to, told, asked, complimented, requested, informed, offered, apologized, ordered, wished, greeted, welcomed, agreed, disagreed, pleaded, demanded, grumbled, believed, considered, opined, remarked, etc. There are a lot more reporting verbs other than these you can make use of, but remember, don't just use said to. Told that, he said that. Don't keep using the same repetitive words. So what is the important rule you need to follow other than this? If the reported speech, remember, Not all the sentences will change, not all the words will change, not all the verbs will change. There are few exceptional rules you need to keep in mind. What are those? If the reported speech expresses a universal truth. For an example, the sun rises in the east. It is a universal truth. You cannot change it. No matter, whenever you speak, it remains the same. The sentence and the verb will remain the same. It will never change. Not just universal truth, habitual action. I get up at 6 a.m. every day. It is habitual action. It will never change. Historical, geographical or scientific fact, the tense of the verb, the tense, remember, the tense of the verb in indirect speech remains the same. Keep this in mind. These factors should be taken into consideration. You cannot change these sentences. Example, she said the planets revolve around the sun. It is universal truth. Tarun said the earth rotates in its own axis. Sampreet told the sun rises in the east. There are many examples you can practice. The more you practice, the better for you while answering the question in examination. So this is the conversation, the question which is taken from the examination 2018. Let us just solve this. And remember, as I told you, this question will be asked for 5 marks in your board exams. So concentrate, try to identify the tense first, change it into other tense if it is required, and keep one thing in mind, that the rule of habitual action, universal truth, scientific, these things will never change. These rules, these sentences will never change even though you are reporting it in indirect speech. So let us solve this. This is a model question. You can expect the same sort of question, and remember, from the chapters which are in dialogue form, the sunny morning, or I believe that books will never disappear, or it could be even the gardener. They can choose the conversations from these 3 chapters, or they can just give you new chapter or the new conversation, and you have to answer the following. And most probably, if you ask me, they will choose questions from your own textbook. So the simplest way to score 5 out of 5 in your examination is to go through the textbook thoroughly. Try to change it to indirect speech. Don't wait until the teacher comes and tries to solve the question. You can just take down the textbook and solve the questions by yourself. Let's start with the first sentence here. Don Gonzalo. Now, what is this dialogue here? There is a conversation between 2 people, Don Gonzalo and Juanito, and Don Gonzalo says that that bench over there is mine. He is pointing at a bench and he says to Juanito that that bench is mine. So you have to report it as an indirect person, indirect speech. Don Gonzalo said that bench over there, so what is the verb here? Over there was, mine becomes his. That bench over there was his. Juanito told that 3 priests becomes were. 3 priests were sitting there. There remains the same. 3 priests were sitting there. Don Gonzalo gets irritated. You can just use reporting verb. Don Gonzalo asked Juanito to rout them out, full stop, and asked if. Have becomes, you need to add the word if. If they had, have becomes had, if they had gone. You cannot say if have they gone. Now, you need to just interchange the verb and the structure here. The sentence structure will change. If they had gone. If they had gone. For this, Juanito replied that they, let me write it, they were still talking. They were still talking. Let us see one more example. This is the question taken from the examination 2017, and this is how they give you the question in your board examination. Report the following conversation, and it will be asked for 5 marks. Donalora. Let us read it once. Donalora, wait for a moment. Petra, what do you want, Senora? Donalora, give me the breadcrumbs. Petra, I don't know what is the matter with him. Donalora, I know the matter. Let's start solving it. Donalora asked to wait for a moment. To wait for a moment. Petra asked what? Petra asked what Senora wanted. What Senora wanted. You cannot use what do you wanted. Now, since we know Senora is none other than Donalora, she is asking what Senora wanted. If you use what do you wanted, then again it will become to question. You cannot just frame the question one more time while you are reporting it. Keep this in mind, it should be in the form of answer. What Senora wanted. Donalora told or requested or asked. Donalora asked Petra to give her, me becomes her, to give her the breadcrumbs. To give her the breadcrumbs. Petra replied, or Petra told, she did not know, I becomes she did not know what was the matter, is becomes was. What was the matter with him? Donalora told that she, I becomes she knew, no becomes past tense. Remember, I know is simple present tense. It is changed to simple past tense according to the rule. She knew the matter. Simple. Remember one thing, observe the tense first and then you change the tense to whichever tense the rule applies, and then you change the main verb. And along with that, you need to add reporting verb. Adding reporting verb is very important. Remember this, you need to add reporting verb. And depending on the context of the sentence, choose the right reporting verb and use it. So that's it for today's session. Let's meet in the next session. I will be discussing about comprehension, nothing but passage, which will be asked for 10 marks. Most of you tend to lose 1 or 2 marks. If you are too weak in English or too weak in comprehending, you might lose more than 5 or 6 marks. So I will be simplifying it for you. Let us meet in the next class. Thank you. Have a good day.